With the recent events that have happened in Black Clover Chapter 307, Tabata has really expanded the capabilities of devil possession. And it had me thinking that there is a lot more than meets the eye with devil hosts. So today I wanted to talk about the true nature and the true power of devil possession and the powers they can really obtain. But before we do that, I need you to obtain that subscribe button with notification bells on and leave a like on this video if you are enjoying the Black Clover content. I really appreciate it. Now, like the Dark Triad, Noct, and Asta, there are many different ways of one becoming a devil host. And one thing that they all have in common is the usage of forbidden magic. But since we know that Asta's power, the source of it comes from Liebe, which is anti-magic, is not necessarily magic at all. It doesn't fall into the category of forbidden magic whatsoever. It's just an outlier. Fate chose him to have this power without even making any sacrifices at all. Asta's situation is extremely different from everybody else's. But the interesting thing here is that using magic from the underworld, there's some sort of price and some sacrifice that you must pay to receive such power. Just like the situation with Patri resurrecting the elves and all his comrades that used to be with him 500 years ago, in order for this forbidden spell to work, he must sacrifice something, which was the humans and also the likes of Rades, Valtos, and Sally, which indirectly not only returned the people of the past, but also gave them an extra boost in power. And then we go 500 years in the past, and Lick's situation where he sacrificed his entire being, filled himself up with so much negative mana, and with the help of the magic stones, using the highest level of forbidden magic, he became an actual demon. Now, when it comes to forming a contract with a devil, there are still sacrifices that need to be made, which was explained to us by Dorothy. However, if the devil is not in the real world, you can only use their power in a limited way, which makes sense why the Dark Triad, their limit, since their devils was not in the real world, it was only at 100% once the gate was open. But it's clear as day, they're not using 100% of their devil's power. They're only using 100% of the power that was given to them that their human bodies can handle. Noct has stated many times that the Dark Triad are nearly on the level of Supreme Devils. However, the Supreme Devils like Nama and Lilith are slightly stronger. So that would mean that Nama and Lilith are stronger than Lucifero, Beelzebub, Megicula if they were using 100% of their devil's powers. But that's not the case because humans have limits. However, with the recent chapters, Zenon went beyond that limit by making a further deal with his devil. Zenon's request to Beelzebub was to give him a devil's heart, and in exchange, the sacrifice he's willing to give up is his entire being, his entire soul. And the condition for this deal, in return, is for the Spade Kingdom's survival. And Beelzebub, he accepts this request. This, in return, makes Zenon the strongest devil host we've seen so far, since the Dark Triad at 100% are stated to be nearly equal to the level of Supreme Devils like Nama and Lilith. That means that Zenon, since he became even stronger than that now, at worst, he's on the level of Supreme Devils or even beyond Nama and Lilith. However, with this newfound power from Zenon, this definitely puts him on the level of the twins or even beyond. Zenon stated that now that he acquired the Devil's Heart, his strength is even more devastating. Tabata is showing us that even when you have a contract with the devil already, you can do further conditions and contracts and make deals with them by devil bargains to even gain more power. And that's what Zenon did, and it's very interesting that he gained all that power and became a devil himself just by gaining a devil's heart. Since Zagreus, Tabata has been emphasizing the importance of a devil's heart. It seems as though that's the source of their powers, and also by destroying their hearts, that's the only way they can die. The same thing happened in Megicula's case. The way that Megicula had to die was to slice the heart because she kept regenerating from the heart. So what Zenon showed us, by sacrificing your entire being for a devil's heart, you can go beyond the limits of the contract. Now, if you missed my review, I did mention that that whole situation reminded me of when Asta did a devil bargain with Liebe by sacrificing his arm for more power. And we saw that there was a clear difference of power between Berserk Asta and also Devil Arm Asta. Devil Arm Asta was more controlled, it was more concentrated anti-magic power and direct points, which made him even stronger, while Berserk Asta, the power was leaking everywhere. The anti-magic wasn't in full control. But this showed us that by sacrificing any part of your body with a devil, your capabilities of power is endless. We saw when Asta sacrificed his arm, just by grabbing a regular katana sword from Yami, he was able to embed it with anti-magic because of his devil arm. Unlike Zenon, Asta did not sacrifice his soul for the devil's heart, and in return, by gaining the devil's arm, look how strong he was just by that. This in return has us all theorizing that Asta can now just grab any weapon and it can become anti-magic. This situation made Asta a more versatile fighter. However, what makes him even more unique and different than the Dark Triad is that his devil is in the actual world. Just like Nacht, Asta also has a deep connection to the underworld, and that is connected to his grimoire and also his devil arm, which allows him to summon his devil into the real world, and since their devils are in the real world, it allows him to use Devil Union, in addition to fully use the capabilities of the full power of their devils. However, if Asta truly wants to, he can add a further condition to his contract by sacrificing something to gain more power that's even beyond Devil Union. However, currently right now in the story, I do not see that happening because Asta hasn't fully mastered Devil Union to begin with. He can only last for 5 minutes, and also in the words of Nacht, Asta hasn't fully completed it yet. But what happened to Asta's arm by gaining the Devil's arm and also Zenon by gaining the Devil's heart, Tabata is clearly setting up a way where Asta and Zenon would not be the only two characters to do devil bargains with their devils to sacrifice something to gain more power. If not already, Morris could have been a character who already went around this rodeo. Morris states to think that in exchange of being born blind, I would be blessed with abilities like this. It's very possible throughout the years in Morris' life, since he was born blind, given the evidence and circumstances that happened with Asta and Zenon, it's very possible that Morris definitely did a devil bargain with his devil. Morris probably sacrificed something in exchange for the devil's eyes. Morris always has his shades on since he is blind, but Tabata emphasized on Morris' eyes when he showed him using the devil's power. Now, given this revelation of further conditions with your devils, this makes you look at Vanica and Dante in a weird way, but more so Dante. Dante could have made a further deal with Lucifero to gain even more power. In that situation, he would have never lost to Yami and Asta. Let's be honest, not even Magna, but this to show you the personality between the Dark Triads. And also Dante, he only fights for himself. He doesn't fight for anyone else, and I'm pretty sure since he believed that he has the King of Devils Lucifero, he doesn't need more power once the gate is open to begin with. But this should show you that he was not bright. And so far in this series, he definitely took everything for granted. You can say he's probably the worst devil host. But it makes sense why Zenon turned out to be the strongest Dark Triad because of what he was fighting for. He was fighting for the benefit of the Spade Kingdom the entire time. Even their older brother stated that Zenon has a greater aptitude of being a devil host compared to Dante and Vanica. But now that we know that Zenon is now an actual devil, his magic is no longer the same. We seen it with Laura Pachika when she became a devil. She started to use devil water magic, very similar to when Patri became corrupted and he started to use demon light magic. This means that Devil Zenon is no longer using regular bone magic, but devil bone magic, giving the history and the lore of how forbidden magic works and how one's magic is being affected by a devil. So honestly, this makes me excited to see the future of devil possession because Zenon just changed the entire game of devil users and what they're capable of. But you already know what's not going to change. Me telling you to subscribe to the channel with notification bells on to see more Black Clover content from me right to your YouTube feed. You guys have an awesome life. Take care of yourselves. Stay blessed. And I'm out.